Hello once again, friends. Welcome to part 5 of the divisions of the Bible. I am Baxter and hope to cover this with you again. It's been a little while since I've done one, but I get back into the groove of things. And so I want to continue on here. A quick review of where we've been at or what I'm trying to accomplish, and I'll show you here. And I got a little bit of light going on from the window back here, but anyway, hopefully we can see the board. But at the top of the board here, as you see, we were talking about divisions of the Bible. So we're going to start out by the Bible as a whole in itself. Now in that, there are two divisions of the Bible. One would be the Old Testament, and then the New Testament, which came after Jesus' death. Then, what we find in that, if we want to divide it up, and these are man-made things that we've looked at and said, here's timelines we can definitely divide things up into. And the first one was the patriarch, or the time of the fathers, which covered a good amount of time here, approximately 2,000 years. Then we come up here to Mount Sinai, and this was never got the law of Moses, and so we say this is the Mosaic period up here until the cross. And then, of course, now from the cross forward until today even, we are in what is called the Christian age, a time period of it now. So we covered before, in the other things, we talked about here that during this section here, that there was 4 divisions in here, and this is about where we left off at. That we had before the flood, then you had after the flood, and then you had the time again with the patriarch fathers of Abraham and Jacob and Isaac and so forth, that led up into whenever these people here with Joseph and his coat of many colors got sent over to Egypt, and there they were then in bondage for 400 years. And there's not a lot of noise in here that we have recordings of, only they were in bondage there for 400 years. And then God heard their cry and said, okay, let me get my people out, remembering the promise he had made back here to Abraham, the father of faith, as we call him right here. Brings us forward. So now we move into up here, after they're coming out, and we're going to come into the Mosaic law period, or Mount Sinai. Here's where he got the law. This is actually the beginning point of this today. And so I call this the wilderness wandering, because for 40 years when they came out, this is what happened. But let's get to that point, and to do that, I'm going to divide this up into simply 2 parts, one today and one the next time we do a video, to continue through this 40 years, because a lot happened in that 40 years, okay? So the first thing is that Moses back here was called out. He left out of Egypt after he killed somebody and they hunted him down, or was going to hunt him down. He left, stayed gone for 40 years. God called him back. So they go back over here, and Moses is talking to Pharaoh, and he's telling him, let my people go. God wants to do this and that. He never would. And in this process of a year's time or so, there was 10 plagues that came upon the land of Egypt, with the last one being the death of the firstborn of everything that did not have the blood on around the post, to keep the death angel, as we call it, from taking the firstborn of that house. They left out of there. They go and they cross over the Red Sea to get away, where here you find as they go down through on dry land, it says they passed over the Egyptian army coming after Pharaoh changed his mind again, going to go bring them back. They go down into the water, and the waters close over onto them and killing them dead, therefore releasing them from the Egyptian bondage. And as a side note, that's a parallel of being freed from sin, because sin is a bondage for us. When we go and cross under the water, as you'll find it in the New Testament teaching, a very comparison to the same thing, where they were baptized under Moses, we are the same way under Christ, that here they crossed over the Red Sea and became free of the bondage of Egypt. Then they come here to Mount Sinai, where then in this process here, it takes a little while. They're there a year, and a lot of things go on in this year, because they're really hard used to being back over here in this bondage. They're coming out, they're complaining. They've seen the miracles that God's performed of crossing the Red Sea and giving them water and all kind of things, and yet they still are going to fail here, okay? But anyway, they come to Mount Sinai, and Mount Sinai is the place here now where they're going to get the 10 Commandments from God that we know, that people call the Law of Moses, or in the Scriptures it's referred to. It's actually the Law of God, but He has written it in stone, as we hear. And that's true, He did do that. Here at the same time, they received how to build the tabernacle, which at that time was a huge tent, but made of many good things to represent the glory of God and to house God when He came down, and to hang on to the Ark of the Covenant and all the worship pieces that they had, and they would pack this up and move as they went around this 40-year wandering in the wilderness. And that's going to become because of their sin that they did that, okay? So they learned how to build the tabernacle. Here we had the Levites were set up as priests. So basically there was 13 tribes that came out of Egypt, okay? And God said, I'm going to take this one and make them my people, to tote my stuff, to worship me, to sacrifice for you. And only one of them could come into the place where the Ark of the Covenant's at once a year to bring offerings to me for that. So this is where all of this here was then set up at, here was in this place. Here, after they got all this done, then there was a count. They call it a census, okay? They counted the people, set them up, organized how they were to travel, how they were to set up, and that camp always was in a square with the Ark of the Covenant, the tabernacle, in the center, representing, in my mind, God is indeed the temple or the center of our attention in our life, and we are built around Him. Anyway, so they done this here, they counted people. Now they're going to leave Mount Sinai and go across the way here, and they're going to go up, and if I had a drawing right here, basically they're going to go back up the red, they go to try to cross over into the land of Canaan, where God is showing them, go in here. So when they get there, to this land of Canaan now, He tells them, take 12 people, representing one person from each tribe, to go into the land of Canaan and to view it out. So they sent 10 spies, and they were in there for 40 days watching, looking, getting information about, okay, we're going to go in here and take over this land. God is about to give us this place called Israel. But what happens is whenever they get in there, they go in, they view the land, they come back out, and 10 of these people bring back a bad report. They said, no, we can't take over this land. The people are too big. Yes, it's got nice big plump grapes. You see, we brought some of this. We brought some of that. We got all these good things in there, but they're too much for us. We can't take them over. And so the people listened to those 10. Joshua and Caleb stands up and tells them, no, this is not so. God said we can take this. He's giving it to us. You ought to believe Him, and let's go in. And they would not. So at this point, my friends, you find there, after this bad report, God kills so many of these people because of their disbelief in Him. Now, and then from that point, we'll pick it up next time we get together, and we'll cover over these things of what happened next to continue on, of why they ended up over here for 40 years wandering in a wilderness, and what happened through those events again. Thank you very much for today. I hope you found value in this, and that this helps you to recognize the stages of the Bible as God's people progress through it, that we can learn from them, we can see their mistakes, we can understand what they did, we can understand God and what He wants us to do, and how important it is to be obedient to Him in every single thing that we understand. If you found this helpful, my friends, if you will, please share it with some other people, that they might be able to learn the little bit of knowledge that I have about the Scriptures and about our relationship with God as well. Thank you. Have a good day, and we will see you on the next video.